whenever it starts and it's magic. If the music is groovy and makes you feel happy like an old-time movie, I'll tell you about the magic and the free your soul.
Hi there. So you may have seen that I had put a community tab post up last night, and I had said, listen, I had started doing a video, and then I heard something about Santa Bali, something different, and my perspective kind of changed, and then I started redoing a new video, and then I heard about the king, and my perspective started to change. So I'm still kind of trying to feel out what exactly is going on. We've got a lot of pieces moving. And I do firmly believe that, the Gwyneth Paltrow stuff, and I almost think the Santa Bali stuff is all just look over here. I think there's something bigger happening in the background. So I'm still kind of feeling that out. I think it's interesting that Meghan is throwing out the kids a lot. If there is a chance of William becoming king sooner rather than later, do we think that might be why she's throwing out the kids a lot more? I don't know. I'm still feeling my way through that. But in the meantime, I wanted to talk about something else, and that is the spin. And Meghan has been so busy with the spin. So let's get into this a little bit. I talk a lot about the spin. And what the spin is, it's that in public relations and in politics, spin is a form of propaganda. Now, it initially, you don't really look at it as propaganda because part of what spin is it's supposed to be happening on a subconscious level. Well, all propaganda is, but spin, it's supposed to be kind of gentle propaganda, if that's maybe, the best way to describe it. It's the idea that you can take any situation and any sort of bad press, and with the right, story and the right photos and the right delivery of it, you can turn it into a positive story. And that's what spin is. And it became very, very key in American politics in the 90s mostly. That's when I really saw the rise of this spin. When I think about spin, I think about Bill Clinton and George Stephanopoulos. They were the kings of spin. They were the ones that could take a blue dress and somehow turn it into a positive. Make it, Clinton's just a good old boy. I mean, I'm not going to get into the politics of it too much, but you can see where they were the ones that kind of made this a thing and made it something that all politicians needed to master, really, in order to or become a successful politician in the United States after the 1990s, the idea of spin. Now, that's not to say that spin didn't exist before. Of course it did. It's just, it became kind of an art in the 90s in the United States. Now we would just see it as good press, PR. But it originally, it wasn't always that way. And it's really become, like I said, an art form. And it's one that Meghan is desperately trying to master. The problem is, part of what makes you a good spin doctor is that there needs to be an element of sincerity. There needs to be an element of likability about the person that you were doing the spin for, or else it's not going to work. And that's what Meghan lacks. She lacks that likability factor that allows people to spin her stories. But, of course, we all know Megsey. It's not going to stop her from trying. And right now, and this goes back to what I was just saying, that, I'm starting to sense that there's a lot going on because the spin is in overdrive. And, for example, let's look at this. This is the Megsey's most recent Instagram reel. I don't even know what they're called. I'm really not good with Instagram. I'm just trying to start to learn it. But this is her Instagram story or whatever it is that, she's putting out. And there's music to it, but of course I had to get rid of the music. It's very brief. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm getting so tired of Megan thinking we're idiots, or treating us like we're idiots, and we're not going to know exactly what she was going for here. The problem is, and this is a perfect example of why Megan's spin isn't working. Look at this. You have Catherine, you have the kids. They're all smiling. They genuinely like each other, not just love each other as a family. They like each other. They enjoy spending time together, which in turn makes all of them likable. What does Megan have? Megan has her rosé cupcakes. Yes, rosé cupcakes. Please be reasonable. What, are you going to feed those to your kids? No, and there's no kids in the picture because she doesn't show her kids. So all the things that are required to make a spin work, Megsey won't do. And that's why she fails miserably at it. Yesterday, I'm scrolling through things, and look at what I see. A slideshow about Harry and Meghan's Montecito mansion. What? We haven't seen this already for years? Why on earth are they putting this out now? Well, because they're still trying to convince us that it's their home. They're still trying to convince us they have this, ideal, this perfect lifestyle. And I think also because she got a lot of backlash for doing this, a TV show and not even filming in her own kitchen and going on about it. So now they have to show, well, she really does have a kitchen. She really does have a home. She really is living this lifestyle. You don't have to work that hard if people already believe you. The only reason you have to go overboard like this is because you know that they don't. And of course, none of us do. She's doing it with her, faux photos of the kids. Duchess Meghan is celebrating the start of spring with a cameo from her daughter, Princess Lily. No, what she shared on her Instagram is a photo of some kid's arms and feet, and then another kid's feet. I mean, it's so ludicrous at this point that she thinks anybody... What, do we care to see their feet? No, nobody even cares to see their faces anymore. Right now, all we want to see is their blood tests. Kidding. Not really. But we don't care about the kids anymore. Domestic Duchess 43 is giving fans a behind-the-scenes sneak peek at life in California with a photo on her Instagram account. The With Love Meghan star shared a sweet snap Thursday of Lily showing her mom's strawberries in a basket. No, again, and I don't know any 3-year-old kid whose arms are that hairy. That's not a little girl, and that's certainly not a 3-year-old little girl. Prince Archie, the Duchess's 5-year-old son with Prince Harry, appears to be making a small appearance in the photo too. Yes, of course, his feet are. But notice that only Prince Harry is referred to as Archie's father. What about Lily's? Cheers to the first day of spring, she captioned the picture. The burgeoning media mogul and Prince Harry do not typically share photographs of their children's faces, and they still aren't. So why are you telling us this? I mean, again, it's the spin, right? So basically it's gaslighting. We see that this is not a picture of kids, but they're going to tell us that it is, and hopefully we'll eventually believe it. Just Meghan, who is in her soft era as she anticipates, as ever, previously shared a photo with Princess Lily, the 3-year-old daughter she shares with Prince Harry, running on grass during the website launch of her lifestyle brand in February. Now, for any of you that don't know what soft era is, because I sure as hell didn't, I had to look it up. The soft era or soft life trend emphasizes prioritizing personal well-being, comfort, and relaxation over relentless productivity and societal expectations. But I thought she was a media mogul. So how are you a media mogul in your soft era? Because moguls would not be in their soft era. Here, we have her starting a brand, doing a TV show, and apparently doing a podcast, Confessions of a Female Flounder. So when exactly is the soft era coming out? Because it sure as heck seems to me that Meghan's pretty darn busy for someone in their soft era. Really scary is just after saying she's in her soft era, this article actually goes on to say Duchess Meghan recently announced a new podcast series. Her new career as a lifestyle brand businesswoman follows a return to her roots. Yeah, in other words, she's gone back to the beginning, and despite having hit a much higher plateau as a duchess of the royal family, she's now back to being an influencer. Meghan previously ran the lifestyle blog The Tig, which she shut down in 2017 when she began dating Harry and stepping into the international spotlight alongside the royal family. Well, see, right there, this is a perfect example of the spin, right? You and I know she's gone, up to the top and back down. She's on her way back down. But they're going to spin it as her returning to her roots. Earlier this month, the Duchess of Sussex announced a new podcast series that will premiere next month. So much for relaxation and lack of productivity. And remember I said in the beginning, I'm starting to see that there's such a push about the kids. Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, not Meghan Sussex, notice, parents of 2, what to know about their kids. And I'm not going to insult your intelligence by reading through this article because, of course, there's literally nothing that they can tell us about these kids other than pretty much their name, crocodile, Leica camera. We know it all. Nothing that we don't already know, and nothing that's truly personal about either of these children. And, part of the British royal family, and especially Queen Elizabeth's biggest thing, they must be seen to be believed. And that's the aspect of it that Meghan is really missing out on. Here she's sitting here pretending that she's all, worried about their safety and this and that. By hiding away the kids, you're putting them in far more danger than by making them the most recognizable children in the world, which is why nobody believes that they really exist, because it would be a stupid thing to do. Now, what is this? This is all her spin, right? It's not that she's hiding away the kids. It's not that she's trying to merch them. It's not that she's trying to hide the fact that they aren't really her children. It's that she is protecting them. It's all about the spin. Of all the spin cycles that I looked through, the one that really jumped out at me was this one. Ex-Vanity Fair editor Graydon Carter cuts Meghan Markle down with these blistering 5 words. Now, for those of you that don't know, I most certainly didn't, Graydon Carter was the editor of Vanity Fair. He was there during that period of, Wild About Harry, amongst other things, and he has published a book. And Meghan comes up in his book, of course. And it's very interesting what he has to say about her. But as interesting as it is what he says about her, even more interesting is the way the New York Post takes what he says about her and tries to spin it. The former editor of Vanity Fair, Graydon Carter, eviscerated Meghan Markle by calling her the Undine Spragg of Montecito, seemingly in reference to her life after splitting from the royal family and moving with Prince Harry across the pond back to her native California. Carter unleashed the 5-word tongue lashing when asked for his gut reaction to the Duchess of Sussex, 43, in a write-up for Interview magazine published on Thursday, March 27th. Because this man, a famous editor of a huge magazine, he's publishing or he's writing his own book, and what is he asked about? He's asked about frickin' Meghan Markle. And what is the article about? Frickin' Meghan Markle. I don't know how this... The famous journalist's answer was likely a comparison to Undine Spragg, a character featured in Edith Wharton's 1913 novel, The Customs of the Country, a social climbing female who moves from the Midwest to try to make it in New York City's high society. Spragg devours various men of stature through marriage and separations, all to obtain her goal of being the belle of the ball in the big city. She backstabs and manipulates others, but feels less satisfaction in achieving her goals and often finds herself haunted by her failures. Well, yeah, it pretty much sums up Meghan. But even though this is very much so the what the Graydon Carter's opinion of Meghan is, This article is a New York Post article, so they're not going to let this slide, right? Any doubts about where the New York Post lies in this drama? They are firmly on Meghan's side, without a doubt. They are one of her mouthpieces. And if you're interested, I did a great series of videos about my interactions with guest speaker. Guest speaker is the one who, if you've listened in St. Meghan Markle or HG Tudor, they talk about guest speaker a lot. And the belief that it is, in fact, Meghan who is guest speaker. Well, I had a few sparring debates with guest speaker, and it's interesting to watch how often I was censored. So if you're interested, go check out those videos. They're pretty good. But back to Graydon Carter. The character, this is Undine Sprague, the character is said to represent greed and ambition, and while she obtains everything she desires at the end of the book, Sprague remains unsatisfied with her life. The Post reached out to Markle's representative for comment, but did not immediately hear back. I don't believe that for a second. While Carter, 75, did not elaborate on why the term was his gut reaction to the Duchess, it could be a comparison based on the life she lived before and after marrying Harry in 2018. It could be? Like, come on. Yeah, of course it is, right? Ridiculous. There were already rumors of tensions brewing among the royal family before the pair swapped I-do's. However, the rift became undeniable after their wedding, and Harry and the Suits alum decision to leave their royal duties to start a new life in a $14 million mansion in Montecito, California. I guess for the 5 people reading this article who wouldn't have known why he said the Undine Sprague of Montecito. The family feud hit an all-time high when the couple sat down with Oprah Winfrey in March 2021, where they detailed their struggles while being senior members of the firm. Now, do you see where the spin is coming in, right? Because this is still, even though Graydon very clearly was very scathing about Meghan, somehow the article is still trying to push that Harry and Meghan are really the victims. It does make you wonder why it is that his magazine so frequently supported Meghan's agenda, right? During an explosive interview, Markle dropped the bombshell allegation that certain members of the family expressed concern over how dark her son Archie's skin might be when he is born. It was later alleged that Kate Middleton and King Charles were the ones who allegedly questioned Archie's skin color. And we all know that's utterly absurd. Even the suggestion that Catherine would even think about the skin color, the interesting thing is that's taking the bias of an American where race is a much, much more prevalent issue in the United States than it is in the UK. Catherine's not American. She's British. Why would it even occur to her to question it? Before welcoming their second child, daughter Lily, now 3, Harry and Meghan signed a massive $100 million multi-year deal with Netflix. They have since released several projects on the streaming giant, including their docuseries Harry and Meghan and Polo. Was that really the name of it? I never watched even a single episode of it. So was the name just Polo? And wasn't that supposed to be a series too, but there was only the one episode? Oh my goodness. The Duchess of Sussex also has her cooking series, With Love, Meghan, which was already renewed for a second season despite its shaky reviews. And Markle continues to reach for more. Now, subtly, it's starting, and I want you to be aware of it so that you can see it as we get towards the end. Graydon Carter is the media mogul, ironically, that, the other article said Meghan was trying to become. But they're trying to make it seem like it's ambition on Meghan's part, not simply grasping. Do you see the difference? Remember, what they're going to do and what they're going to say, it has to be subtle. Why? Because Graydon Carter is the media mogul, the one with the clout. So they can't flat out say, he's lying, he's wrong, he's incorrect, he's being a racist for all we know. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't throw that at him, right? But They can't do that because he's the one with the power. So instead, it has to be subtle, and it has to be in layers within the article to give their position and to say what Meghan is in their mind without outright saying this guy's a jerk. The former actress has had challenges getting her new lifestyle brand, as ever, off the ground after changing the name over trademark issues. This woman should never be allowed to name anything. Between her podcast, her books, her podcast, her blogs, her brand, her TV show. I mean, this woman should not be allowed to name anything ever again. In the midst of unveiling the label, which will sell products like her signature raspberry jam, Markle rebranded her podcast after inking a deal with Lemonada Media in February 2024, following her now-defunct podcast, Archetypes, on Spotify. Markle released a trailer for Confessions of a Female Founder this month and dropped a digital storefront. Now, I haven't looked at the digital storefront yet. What the heck is she going to sell? T-shirts? Ugh. If she wants to sell a T-shirt, that photo with the flounder that my friend made, that's what we're going to go with. We're going to send that to her and say, here, this is what you need to sue. The Duchess is reportedly convinced her latest business rollouts will make her extremely wealthy and launch her into billionaire status. We're going to read that article, and we're going to laugh over the fact that the last line is billionaire status, which we don't believe that Meghan ever will be able to attain. But you have to take it from the perspective of someone who thinks that Meghan is the next media mogul, is the next billionaire, who is going to be successful at all this nonsense that she's doing. And so in their head, they left the article on a high for Meghan without necessarily, they never actually said flat out, no, Graydon Carter's a jerk. But instead, they backed everything up. They spun the story to make it actually positive to Meghan. Now, you and I wouldn't think that, because we're going to pick out the bits and pieces that we think are the more truthful ones, which is Graydon Carter saying this woman is a grasping, social climbing bee. But they're not writing the story to us. They're writing the story to the people that they think they can still convince. And that's the key. That's the key to the spin, right? You have to know who your audience is and who it is that you're trying to convince with your spin. And so we have two things going on here simultaneously, in my opinion. One thing is this increased spin, the spin in overdrive. And the other thing is something bigger, like kind of brewing underneath the surface. There's a lot of rumors out there, some of which I happen to know are true. And there's a lot of things that people are starting to pick up on. And the sad thing is, I don't think we even know the biggest thing yet. And I think it's whenever that comes out. And I think that that's getting close. And that's why they're trying so hard to circle the wagons and keep our attention on all these different things. So that's what I'm thinking right now. But I'm curious what you think. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts down in the comments. Oh, and by the way, remember I said that I signed up to, the Spectator to get like a free, 3-month trial period or whatever. Well, today in the mail from the UK, I got my Spectator magazine. I'm so excited. This must be like, the free, copy that they give to whoever it is, when you sign up for this thing. But I got the March 22nd, 2025, a little bit late because obviously this came from the UK. It's very exciting. Growing pains on Labour's emergency budget. Who wants a girl boss Snow White? So I'm going to be reading this later, and I assume I'm going to find something interesting in it because I am enjoying The Spectator a great deal. And I swear I'm not getting anything from them. They're not supporting me in any way. This is not promotional. I just really enjoyed the articles that I read from there, and I look forward to reading more. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you all have a great day filled with love, laughter, and of course, dancing.
Dancing in